Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In this video I'd like to look at a lovely Holy Grail trade setup that's just unfolded on a 3-minute chart of the DAX. If we look at the DAX today, we can see that the STF is blue, so for standard traders you'd be looking to take buy setups, in other words this TS3 buy here, and not sell setups. This sell setup is against the blue STF, so for standard traders should be avoided. So even for standard traders, if I put the analysis on here, you can see the market went up and actually has hit the first target there for a lovely plus 4.3R profit. However, the Holy Grail trade setup is a unique kind of setup where we're looking for a higher target. So if I clear all and move to the higher time frame, I'll show you the steps that we take. Basically, for a Holy Grail trade setup, we are looking for an ABC correction, which we have here, to come off the initial move, which we had here, off an important high or low, and in this case a low. So how do we define the important high or low? Because that's the first point. So for this we go to the higher time frame. So if I go to the 3-minute chart and I actually scroll back to before today opened, and if I zoom in a bit, you can see that we had a pivot here. So for this I want to put a DP or a decision point support zone off this pivot. Very easy, right mouse click over the pivot, click decision point, and there you are. You can see it's out there in the future. That's the important point, it's in the future before the DAX even got down there. Just want to put a little rectangle around it so I can then hold on to that as we change down to the 3-minute chart. So there it is. If I scroll forward, you can see that the market went down to this level here, and this is the point off which this really sharp rally unfolded. In fact, actually, if I put a decision point off here, you can see the market has actually reached this decision point off this higher pivot here. But I'm not going to look at that one. The main point is that this low here that I'm circling is an important low because it came in at a 15-minute support. So the market moved up, came down, and on this 15-minute chart, if I put the Elliott waves on, you can see that here we were coming down into a wave 2. Now in Elliott wave terms, after a wave 2 you tend to get a strong wave 3 type swing. And if I look at this here, you can see this is exactly what unfolded. So we have a major low, initial swing up wave 1, initial correction wave 2, then we get a strong wave 3 type rally. Now if we go down to the shorter time frame, now just zoom in a bit, in fact I'll drag this chart back a bit, you can see that the wave 2, which is this decline here, has unfolded in an ABC. So these are the criteria I look for a Holy Grail trade setup. First and foremost, an important low, in this case on a higher time frame, and here you can see our 15-minute DP, and that low is tagged beautifully. Initial rally up is wave 1, initial correction down into here is wave 2. If I put the analysis on, that means that the target we're looking for is not this first target here, which we can see was a nice 4.3R profit. It's actually the typical wave 3 WPT here. So if I put the target on up to that typical wave 3 WPT, which is there, you can see it suddenly increased the trade up to a potential 11R profit. And if I scroll forward, you can see that, just resize the chart so you can see the whole chart. You can see that is where the market has just reached. Now why are these such good trades? Well, in Elliott wave terms, the wave 3 is normally the strongest and longest wave in any completed 5-wave sequence. So if you can get in just as the wave 2 is ending, and here we managed to buy on the very bar that this low is coming in, it allowed you to use position sizing, which is what we do here. In this case we vary the number of contracts, lots or shares to keep our risk small and under control, in this case less than 2% of a sample 20,000 euro account. So that meant on this particular setup you can go long 2 contracts. So that kept our initial risk small, but you can see the beauty of this trade setup is that when it reached the typical wave 3 WPT, which was here, the profit was actually 11.4 times the initial risk. So even at this first target here, for an initial risk of 350 euros, the profit was approximately 11 times greater than this, or 3,900, well almost 4,000 euros. And that's the beauty of these Holy Grail trade setups, is because, for me anyway, they represent the largest profits for the smallest initial risk. So again, the important points are, first you have to identify an important high or low. For this you go to the 15-minute chart or the higher time frame, and that's what we had here. We then had an initial move off, an ABC correction down. This was the initial correction that unfolded as an ABC into our TS3 buy setup. We then aim for the typical wave 3 WPT, and then we use position sizing to capture a trade like this. And it's a real beauty to see trades like this, and as you can see, this is unfolding in real time at the moment. And again, the reason I like these Holy Grail trade setups, and in fact they are the reason that MTPredictor was actually built in the first place over 10 years ago now, to be able to capture the very end of the wave 2, so it allowed you to take a small initial risk and have profits that are much larger than the initial risk. And in my books, this is the best type of trade that any trader could look to unfold. And here MTPredictor has the tools to let you uncover these trades automatically for you.